What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth, and quick reminders to play Overcooked and What Remains of Edith Finch. Make sure to play those and come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know what you thought of those games. We'll let you know what we thought of those games. That's coming up very soon. Can't wait to talk to you guys about that. And our game of the month, randomly picked, is Risk of Rain, which is a third-person shooter roguelike game that is, spoiler, pretty fun. Check it out, and let us know what you thought of it for Game of the Month at the end of the month. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. If you only like audio or you want to save data, you can do that. And if you're listening to us, check us out on YouTube. Also, we have Discord. Link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. I'm going to try and make this Taste Tuesday brief. We're going to film it last night, but I had a really early appointment. That's why I seem tired. Also, if this looks different or if you're noticing that the camera is moving with me, like right now, it's because I'm filming this on my new camera. I picked up an Osmo Pocket. I want to see how it looks with 1080p. We're not doing 4K. I don't have that kind of fucking time. Maybe later. But bought this for my trip coming up soon to do stuff on the fly. Hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it's not too weird that it's moving and following and tracking me. But yeah, Taste Tuesday. Let's get into it. So first bit of news, like I said, kind of on a schedule here. So I'm going to try and do this episode real quick. You guys understand. And yeah. First bit of news. So this is kind of, I'm going to go through the whole process of this because I remember yesterday I was seeing this on Twitter all over the place and everybody's reporting that it was one thing and everybody else was like, it's not that at all. So, yeah, so GameSpot and other publications reported that George R.R. Martin teased a new game that could be developed by From Software, but they were originally saying it was a Game of Thrones game. The original article says HBO's Game of Thrones is officially over, but the series is continuing with a 2-hour documentary on May 26th, the potentially new prequel TV show, blah, 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 blah. But let's see. George R.R. Martin, in his blog, said that he is consulting work on a video game from a studio in Japan. He never says it is a Game of Thrones game. I'm glad they had that correction. So he may only be doing consulting work for writing or other world building, but it's still exciting to think about. Martin said his mysterious game is being developed out of Japan. Gematsu reports that Sekiro, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls developer From Software is working on the game, which is an open world title featuring horse riding. Hidetaka Miyazaki is reportedly working on the title with Martin. It remains to be seen if it is a Game of Thrones game, however. The game is said to be published by Bandai Namco, big surprise, with a reveal at Microsoft's E3 2019 briefing planned for June. Whew, that's exciting. Gematsu notes that it only is confirmed this information with a single source, but decided to publish its story in light of Martin's blog post revealing a new game in development by a Japanese studio. It would definitely be an intriguing development to learn that From Software was working on a new title from Hidetaka Miyazaki with the help of George R.R. Martin, even if it isn't Game of Thrones game. It is the kind of announcement that would be huge. This is just your opinion. This isn't news right now. Okay, so anyway, their correction that they added after this was this story originally incorrectly stated that From Software's rumored new title could be a Game of Thrones game. Martin himself has now only confirmed that he did some consulting work for a new game developed in Japan. What's more, the rumor is that Martin is working with From Software on a new video game project of some kind, but not necessarily a Game of Thrones game. GameSpot regrets the error. I like that they add that. They regret it because they, like everybody else, IGN, Kotaku, all of them, were like, From Software is making the next, or a new Game of Thrones game. And like I said, everybody was like, it doesn't say that anywhere. He doesn't say that anywhere. So why just making that up? To get people to click. Anyway, outside of my annoyance with all games journalism, because they're just, they don't try anymore. Haven't for years. What do I gather out of this? That George R.R. Martin is working potentially with a Japanese company on a game that he is most likely writing for or helping world building with, and it could be From Software. What I think of that is fucking awesome. I'm very excited for that. As everybody knows, he's a great writer. People love the books. And for what it's worth with the series, the amount of episodes based off of his work were phenomenal, fantastic. And I honestly, if anybody, we'll drop From Software for at first, but if anybody's working on a game from him, I'm hoping that it's not Game of Thrones. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I would love to see him work on some new world building, new characters. Give him a break from Game of Thrones to work on something else, and seeing that realized through a video game would be awesome. I mean that idea is fucking exciting to me. And if they show us at E3, even give us like a teaser or anything, that's gonna be huge. And that kind of surprise, even though it wouldn't be a surprise now, would be very cool. If it is From Software, I'm mixed on it because From Software is amazing. I love From Software. Armored Core is one of my favorite series of all time. Dark Souls is amazing. All those games are great. Sekiro, Bloodborne. But if they were to make a game through his writing or whatever he'd be doing, whatever they're consulting about, and they're talking about open world with horse riding stuff like that, they haven't done anything with that in a game really, and I'd love to see them stray away from what they're used to doing. At the same time, I have a feeling that you'd get something pretty similar to what we get with Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Sekiro. Even though Sekiro was a deviation from what we're used to, it's still very much in the same vein in some ways. Still locking on, still dodging left and right, and attacking and not getting hit and stuff like that, and dying pretty quickly, and having a punishment for dying and wanting to get better and better and better. And that formula could work again, but I'd love to see them, just like George R. R. Martin, not make another Game of Thrones story in something. I'd love to see them kind of stretch their wings and fucking try something else out too. So if it is them, I'm stoked. They're a talented company. I really want that fucking Armored Core though, so please can we get that? But this could be really cool. This could be really awesome. You're talking about a great writer responsible for a great series, maybe making something new, maybe working on something that's an extended version of what he's already worked on, with potentially From Software, who has a fucking, pedigree in making dark fantasy better than I think most people can outside of CD Projekt Red. And not comparing the two, just saying they also make dark fantasy really well. Um, those two together would be amazing. I think nobody would complain. I would also love to see what somebody else could do as well. But overall, this is really exciting, and it seems to be confirmed that he is at least talking with people. So if we see something at E3, very excited to see that. Very excited to see that. And yeah, hopefully he's not talking with Konami about making pachinko machines. That'd be very disappointing. Let me know in the comments though, what do you think about George R. R. Martin working on or at least consulting with a Japanese developer right now on a new game that could or could not be Game of Thrones? Do you want it to be Game of Thrones? Do you not want it to be? Do you want it to be its own original thing? Who do you want to be working on it? Are you down with From Software? Would you want to be closer to like a Dark Souls experience? Do you want them to do something completely different? Or is there a different developer that you'd like to see him work with? Let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to that topic in the comments below. And yeah, GameSpot, IGN, all you guys, get your shit together. I'm fucking so sick of you guys. Calling them out. Second bit of news, which is kind of interesting in my opinion, because this is straying away from what we're used to. So I'm sure you guys have heard already. I'm going to go into the details. Typically, Call of Duty is made on a 3-year cycle nowadays, between Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games / Raven Software. Next up is Infinity Ward, working on what people assume is Modern Warfare 4. Who gives a fuck? I'm not a big Infinity Ward fan anymore. And after that, it's supposed to be Sledgehammer and Raven working on the next one. They're the guys who made the Call of Duty World War II and Advanced Warfare, and I think that's about it. Anyway, apparently they got kicked out. They're being put on hiatus they're being put as a support developer to now Treyarch making the next Call of Duty. Apparently, Call of Duty is going back to a 2-year cycle where Infinity Ward and Treyarch will be making them. So we're getting the next Infinity Ward Call of Duty, and the one after that will be the next Treyarch game. Again, they just released Black Ops 4 to pretty mixed reviews. They dropped a single player story mode campaign for Battle Royale and multiplayer being their priority, which has been has gotten pretty mixed reviews from most people. I think most people are kind of upset about that. So yeah, they'll be making the next game in 2020, and yeah, we're going to go through this article real fast because there's some information here that I think is really interesting to talk about. So I'm going to go real quick. According to a report from Kotaku, yay, Kotaku, Activision has informed developers at Sledgehammer Games and Raven that both studios will no longer be in charge of the Call of Duty game scheduled for 2020. That's very interesting already because that's Activision coming in and letting them know when they were probably already pre-planning whatever they're working on. So this was, a surprise for them as well. Instead, Treyarch, who last developed 2018's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, will reportedly be taking over leading development on new Black Ops game for the next year, Black Ops 5. I think it's funny how every time Treyarch makes a game, they're like, oh, I think it might be Black Ops. I think it might be Black Ops. And now they're like, Black Ops 5 is coming out in 2020. Do we know that? I mean, we know that, but do we know that? Raven and Sledgehammer were originally supposed to lead the development of the 2020 Call of Duty, and according to Kotaku, the plan was to set its story mode during the Cold War. Conveniently enough, Kotaku reports that Treyarch is also setting its story mode for Black Ops 5 during the Cold War. So that would mean we're getting a story mode back, which they said they were going to experiment with Black Ops 4, and I believe that was their intention, and I don't mind it because I think that most people don't play those campaigns, even though they complain about them. Most people I know don't even play them. But I think it's smart for them to go back because I really liked what they did with Black Ops 3 when it came to their co-op campaign. That was really fun. And not having it in 4, I think was it was taking a step back, which kind of sucks because I think they really did some cool stuff with 3. According to Kotaku's Jason Schreier, who has been trying to play journalist all of a sudden ever since Kotaku is under threat of getting sold. I think it's really funny how they're doing all the social political shit constantly, whining and bitching about all sorts of shit. And then as soon as their parent companies are getting sold and exchanged all over the place, all of a sudden little baby Jason Schreier is like, I'm going to be a journalist. But he's doing stuff. He's working on it. So anyway, he cites sources. Sorry, I'm putting in my own commentary here on this. Briefed on the overhaul, while Treyarch will take over a leadership role on the 2020 Call of Duty, Raven and Sledgehammer will act as support studios now. What a downgrade. Treyarch will be utilizing work previously done on a single-player story mode for the campaign. See, that's interesting. We'll be utilizing work previously done on a single-player story mode. So are they working on previously done? Were they working on it already, or was Raven and Sledgehammer working on it? Anyway, it's the first time since 2012, blah, blah, blah. We're not going into that. We already went over that. Here's the interesting part. One main reason behind the studio switch is reportedly due to significant tensions between employees from Raven and Sledgehammer. The sources indicated that both staffs argued frequently over the past year. According to Kotaku, reactions over at Treyarch are quite mixed between dismay and excitement, I bet. Instead of a 3-year schedule, Treyarch will now have 2 years to make Black Ops 5. And Kotaku sources say it may result in particularly bad stretch of crunch. We've all heard about that recently. Other sources say they're excited because their game plan for Black Ops 5 likely won't change as drastically as it did for previous installments. 2 co-founders of Sledgehammer, Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield, both left shortly after February 2018. Condrey went on to start a new studio in Silicon Valley with publisher 2K. That studio ended up hiring multiple Sledgehammer employees, and Kotaku reports Sledgehammer has been losing employees ever since. So it sounds like they've been having issues. Judging from the typical release calendar of Call of Duty games, there's at least a possibility Black Ops 5 may be a cross-gen game, which would make complete sense. And I'm not going into the rest of that. So this is interesting because, full transparency, anybody who watches the channel regularly knows this, but I am a Call of Duty fan. I play Call of Duty. I enjoy them. I don't think they're amazing, but they are fun. And I partake in them. They're a fun game to play with your friends, blah, blah, blah. I do think Treyarch makes the best Call of Duties nowadays when it comes to multiplayer Call of Duty. They have the more ideas, blah blah blah. Infinity Ward used to be the good one back in the day when the guys from Respawn used to work for them, but we all know what happened there. So with that aside, this is very interesting to hear. This overall does not sound good to me, just because it's too much at once. And I know a lot of people are going to want to blame certain elements. They're going to go, well, Black Ops 4 fucking sucks and Activision fucking sucks and blah, blah. Let's throw that all aside real quick and just look at the whole thing. Activision's been having a shitload of problems with Blizzard. They've been losing money. Call of Duty still makes them money. So they have to protect that asset. Regardless of if you like it or not, it still makes money. So as a company, they have to protect that. If Sledgehammer and Raven have been having issues and losing people, that development is weakened. So taking the route of this is a lot to put on Treyarch. Treyarch supports their games long term until their next game comes out. They did a great job with Black Ops 3. They released shit right before 4 came out for Black Ops 3. I assume they'd be doing the same thing with 4. And they might still. But now they have a whole new game dropped on their lap that they're going to have to create in 2 years. Treyarch's a talented company. They're going to be able to do it, but that extra year, that's a chunk of fucking time gone now that they have to find shortcuts to get that done. That worries me because they got, comfortable with working on Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3 at 3 years. Black Ops 3 really showed that they had 3 years to work on it. It was packed full of content. So what I'm worried about is I feel like we're going to get a lot of recycled assets from prior Call of Duties that are going to be reskinned. We're going to get a story that's rushed. We're going to get multiplayer that's going to feel and I know a lot of people who don't like Call of Duty are going to say it all feels the same. But I think we're going to get a very more so samey feel in Black Ops 5, if it is Black Ops 5, to the prior games. I almost feel like there might transfer over zombies and the blackout mode over. It would make sense just to keep those and add to the content. I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing, but I can see them doing it because zombies always does carry over anyway. Like I said, taking assets from the multiplayer and bringing it over, just add new maps, new weapons, then they're like, well, it's all brand new, and then add that campaign. And that might be Black Ops 5. No, this is just speculation, but I'm really trying to wrap my head around how you originally thought you had, 3 years to work on a game and support your game that you just released not that long ago. And now they're like, oh, by the way, that time you thought you had, you don't have it. You got to make the other people's game coming up fast. You got to get that done quick. So overall, I think this is kind of going to fuck everybody. If they can pull it off, awesome. I'll be like, they did it. I can't believe they did that. But with crunch, I mean, that's definitely going to be a factor here. There's no way they could make this game without that. And, the brand will sell the game as well, but this could really hurt the series. I know every time a Call of Duty comes out, people are like, Call of Duty's dead. It's going to die. It's going to die. They've been saying that for like 8 years, every time a Call of Duty comes out. And it's never really the fact, but this seems like another issue piled on top of what Activision is dealing with all their games. Activision is going to need to branch out, but they also need to play it safe. So it's really interesting to watch this happen. Like I said before, I think Activision is safe as a company, but they have a lot of hemorrhages happening. They got a lot of holes in the ship that they need to be fixing soon. I think this is just another one of those holes in the ship, and it seems like they're fixing it quick, but I don't know if it's a Band-Aid or if it's actually going to seal the problem. So, I wish Treyarch the best as a developer. I want them to make awesome games. I want them to be proud of their games, and I want us to enjoy those games. But I don't think any developer would be able to do what is being asked of them on the fly like this, as well as if they had a normal development cycle. Also, when they say that there's mixed reactions from Treyarch, I bet, because You're going to have people who are like, whew, man, we just finished Black Ops 4. That was a lot of work. Now we're supporting it. Some people are unhappy with it. Some people are happy with it. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to make it better. And then Activision's like, by the way, you need to make a new Call of Duty like right now. And I'm sure, those diehard guys who are like, fuck yeah, we're Treyarch, we work for Activision, we sell a big ass branded game that people fucking buy a shitload of. We got another opportunity to do that, to make our brand bigger and better. Let's fucking do it. Those are higher ups typically. And then, developers, I'm sure they're ecstatic to be able to work on something new or whatever. But also at the same time, there's a period in that development where you got to be able to fucking take a break, take a step back and go, okay, like, let's recharge. Let's get the creative juices back. We worked a shitload on that last game. Let's, just relax for a second. And now they're going to jump right back in. And I'm curious on how it's going to affect morale. I'm curious how it's going to affect development. So all I'm saying, long story short, is if Black Ops 5 sucks, you know why. And I don't think I would blame Treyarch. I think I would blame Activision on that because they are steering that ship all over the fucking place, hitting everything on the way there. And I'm really curious to see where the hell they go because things just keep stacking up. But at least they're not EA because EA is fucked with what they keep doing. Anyway, that's the story. Fucking Black Ops 5 coming out 2020. Sledgehammer is going to be a support group. People have left that company. Maybe with that support, though, they'll be able to get a quality product out. They'll have a bigger team at that point. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about Call of Duty transitioning over to 2-year cycles again with Treyarch taking the helm again? Do you want Black Ops 5? Do you not want Black Ops 5? If you hate Call of Duty, I'm sure you don't want any of it. And do you think it's going to affect Activision in the long term? Do you think it's going to negatively affect them? Do you think they're going to be fine? And yeah, if you could get a Call of Duty your way, what would you want them to make and what era would you want to be? Do you think the Cold War sounds interesting? Didn't they already fucking do that? And yeah, let me know everything you think about when it comes to Call of Duty, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer Games, and the year 2020 coming up. Last bit of news. Okay, so you guys probably heard about this, and there's not enough info on this, but we are going to speculate a bit. And that is Microsoft and Sony make nice announced partnership for gaming and cloud services. So that's something nobody really thought was coming. The article says, Microsoft and Sony, the companies behind Xbox One and PS4 respectively, no way, I had no idea, revealed this week that they have established a strategic partnership. The two companies plan on sharing technology and information going forward and build upon shared infrastructures for some of their future initiatives. Nowhere in the announcements are Xbox and PlayStation named. So they're just saying Sony and Microsoft are partnering. But its wording implies Microsoft and Sony's partnership will specifically focus on consumer entertainment platforms like gaming. Specifically, the agreement, a memorandum of understanding, says that the two will jointly develop future cloud solutions within Microsoft Azure. I'm assuming Azure. I watched GameSpot talk about it, and they're like, Azure. I was like, I don't think that's how you're supposed to say it, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be very wrong. Yeah. It also says that Sony will use Microsoft Azure for its own game and content streaming services, although Sony's PlayStation Now is not mentioned specifically, including a push to build better tools for content creators. The two are also committing to work together on semiconductors and artificial intelligence. In quote, it says PlayStation itself came through the integration of creativity and technology. Sony president Kenichiro Yoshida said in an announcement, our mission is to seamlessly evolve this platform as one that continues to deliver the best and most immersive entertainment experiences together with cloud environment that ensures the best possible experience anytime, anywhere. For many years, Microsoft has been a key business partner for us, though, of course, the two companies also have been competing in some areas. Oh boy, let me tell you, I know they have, and I know Twitter definitely knows all about that as well. For many years, Microsoft has been a key business. I already read that. I believe that our joint development of future cloud solutions will contribute greatly to the advancement of interactive content. Sony has always been a leader in both entertainment and technology, and the collaboration we announced today builds on the history of innovation, added Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. I don't know. Our partnerships will bring the power of Azure and Azure AI to Sony to deliver new gaming and entertainment experiences for customers. Xbox head Phil Spencer Nadella also followed up with tweets that stressed the entertainment and gaming aspect of partnership. Phil Spencer said, "Excited about the opportunities ahead with Sony for us to pursue our mutual gaming ambitions and delight players around the world. Bringing the power of Azure," this is Satya Nadella guy. "Bringing the power of Azure and Azure AI to Sony to deliver new gaming and blah, blah, blah." We already kind of went over that. So the partnership has only just been announced, so any results from it could take a while to manifest. The mention of Microsoft Cloud Solutions is gaming comes just as in gaming, gaming comes just as Microsoft is planning its own streaming platform, xCloud. When it's just me talking, my throat dries out real bad. Because I'm just, you guys understand, which will compete directly with Google Stadia. As noted above, it's unclear how or if this deal could impact PlayStation's streaming platform, PlayStation Now. And then they mentioned E3 is coming up, so we'll maybe hear more about that then. So this is really fucking interesting to me. I know I say things are really interesting often, but believe me when I say this, I think a lot of things are really interesting. The first thing I think about when I think about this whole thing, so it's really vague. They're working together to, come on, camera. Remember, I'm using a new camera, so I'm not used to it. Anyway, my first thing I think about, because it's really vague, obviously it's going to be for gaming, but I think it's beyond that. The AI aspect, it's going to go into a bunch of things, and there's just so much to this that it's hard to really focus on. But my first thing I think about is this seems like a partnership to secure their platforms over new impending threats to their brand. So Stadia is coming out. Microsoft has already been very vocal about saying that they are also doing cloud-based gaming soon with their established console, and that Stadia will suffer because it does not have the exclusives and the branding that Xbox has. So that's a very unwelcoming thing to say about someone coming out and competing with you. And that Stadia is going to be, online based. You can play it anywhere. This is coming for everybody. This is coming for Xbox, coming for Sony, it's coming for Nintendo, and they're going to have to compete with that. So it makes complete sense that, so for instance, if you have the Unreal Engine, different companies, different developers can use Unreal Engine, sell their game, and compete with each other directly. They're still using the same tools. Just like if I use a hammer and use the same branded hammer and we're competing, somebody who made that hammer is benefiting. That's all that's happening there. Same thing with this. If Microsoft has a really good platform that streams games better than what Sony has, or maybe Sony hasn't even worked on it or doesn't want to pursue that, this partnership just means that they're both using Microsoft's infrastructure to stream games, but still selling their own games. So it's still benefiting both of them while staying friendly, but also Microsoft's making money from Sony. So, in business, that makes sense. But and it's smart because now you have two major technology companies, which is important to remember. Sony is a technology company. They've invented a bunch of shit that didn't exist before they made it. You have two of these companies using the same platform together, and kind of like Hideo Kojima using I forgot what it's called, but the engine that they used in Horizon Zero Dawn. Part of that package was all the things they learn and build and make with Death Stranding. They're going to be sharing information with Guerrilla Games, and there's kind of this partnership there with that engine, trying to make that engine better. It's a really interesting thing to see. I think the same thing's going to happen here. I think this is going to benefit Sony and Microsoft together. They're going to still be able to compete, but they're both going to be working on one platform to make streaming and AI better through two different lenses. I think that's genius because nothing's really going to change. Maybe down the road they'll get a little more friendly and do more cross-platform play, which would be great to see. But this really just seems like two companies who already have a foothold. I mean, these are the major players in the console race. Putting their feet down and holding the position as it seems like new consoles are all getting announced recently, which is really kind of crazy. And with cloud gaming, any technology company, fucking Google, Amazon, anybody can just come in and be like, we do cloud gaming now. We do what they do, but you don't have to buy a console from us. So it's really smart for them to preemptively be ready for that because they're both going to go this way. Everybody knows that. xCloud, or Xbox is going to have that, and it makes complete sense. And I think it's a smarter way to go, giving us a console that also does streaming. And I've been speculating, and like everybody else, PS5 will most likely do it as well. Eventually, they're gonna introduce that, and now we know that they will be using that cloud-based service that the Microsoft's infrastructure. So, and now we know that they're working together to make that better together. So, yeah, we don't really know where it's going though. They didn't really talk about those details. All we know is they're working together to make that better. And like I said, I think this is in a reaction to. They've been competing together. There's an ecosystem there. They're both making money off of each other. That competition makes money. So to protect each other is kind of a weird way to put this, is to secure their brands. So, but yeah, without information, it's really hard to speculate on. Outside of that, I think it's just really interesting in the sense that these two companies that you would not see typically working together are working together, and it makes complete sense to me. Let me know in the comments, does it make complete sense to you? What do you think they're doing together? Do you think they'll benefit from this? Do you think they're going to get a little more personal, maybe start doing cross-platform play now that they're working together in one capacity? What do you think they are working together to do with Microsoft Azure? Do you think it's pretty much what I was saying? There's kind of using the same platform to do streaming and AI, or do you think there's going to be something more to it? Maybe we already know Xbox thinking about putting Xbox Live on Switch. Maybe we'll see that with the PlayStation later in the future. That'd be fucking crazy. And yeah, what do you think about the future of gaming? And what do you think about cloud-based gaming, whether from the people we know or newcomers coming to try and take a piece of the pie? And yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word. I dual stream when I stream, so you can watch me here as well. Doesn't matter. Just pick your poison. Although recently, the last 2 streams have not showed up on YouTube, so I will be fixing that very soon. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. And we have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. Post some random shit, talk to us, or just fucking sit there and watch us talk and be a lurker and creep around. That's fine as well. And yeah, my name's Seth. Until the next episode, which should be later this week, Tastecast or maybe something in between. Have a good week, guys, and take it easy.